So, all right, the session is recording already, and we shall start now. Now, firstly, this is just to let you all know that we will be talking on credential itself, and I will talk about things like what's the difference between certification and also credential. And just to share a bit, normally, like if we were to talk about credential, they do have ICF themselves do have a person that specialize on credential itself. So for our Malaysian coaches, MACC itself, I'll be the one sharing. For more information after this, feel free to ask any MACC members, or you can actually ask ICF directly. Just to want to share, yeah, right? Now, so like the subtitle says, building credibility, competence, and professional possibilities. Let's take a look at the first thing. Now, what a credential represents in coaching. Now, before I go on and show you what it is, do share at the chat box. Like, what do you think credential represent in coaching? What is your uh, perspective or perception or opinion that what does this credential represent in coaching? Share the chat box. Also, those that just came in, you can feel free to download the Zoom wallpaper for tonight's session, which Yong already shared. Credibility, okay, from Mala and also Chin. Okay, what else? What are your perception of credential in coaching? Right, properly trained. All right, properly trained. Testament of competency, recognition. Yes, exactly. So most of you have a rough understanding, or I will call it surface of what we call what credential actually represent in coaching itself. Now, let's take a look first what it means. First thing first, it builds confidence and trust in coaching. Why? Because a credential not only signifies verified competence, like you all have mentioned, testament of competency, it also gives the client and organization confidence in the coach professional standings. Now, the reason why they claim this is because according to studies, right, association aside from ICF themselves, the reason why they came up with credential is because there are too many education providers out there who certify people like coaches. Like, so you have a number of organization out there like NLP coaches. uh you have this what we call it International Association of Coaches as well, and you have ICF as well. So the question would be where to look at and how do I know who to trust? So that's where ICF starts to come up with what we call credential series. Why? Now, because you see, everyone can get certified. In fact, if we were to put coaching aside, some of you, if you know trainings, for example, you will know that many trainers out there, they'll call themselves a certified trainer. But where does the credential come from? How do I know whether this is verified? And therefore, ICF came up with the credential exam, whereby when you get your certificate, that's one thing. You can call yourself as a certified coach. Cool. But credential has a different standing. It means that you are abide by in ICF the three main things. Number one, ICF core competency. Number two, ICF core values. And number three, ICF ethical standards. So with all these three that governs in the ICF credential exam itself, which really tests upon all these three things, right? You will become what we call competent enough, as like what mentioned, testament of competency. Why? Because the ICF credential itself, if we were to look at the percentage of people passing, of course, like in recent years, the passing mark has also increased over the time of ACC itself first, all right, and PCC, let alone MCC. So today we are not going to talk about MCC. Reason is because MCC is too far off, 2,500 hours, and by the time you reach MCC, right, you definitely know what to do. So today we are talking about ACC and PCC. Why? Is because some people can uh, skip ACC and directly take PCC when they have enough coaching hours, right? Now, to move back there itself, the ACC and PCC exam is to make sure that you abide by the three things I mentioned earlier. So there itself, it goes by a gold standard, ICF gold standard, where everybody understand that once you are once you are credentialed, okay, a credential coach, then it speaks a different volume already because you abide by ICF coaching standards, which is, right? I'm not going to throw the question to you all, but just to mention it, which is the interactive style, asking question, being partner, to have a thought-provoking, to ask thought-provoking questions so that your client itself or your coachee itself learns something through it rather than what we mentioned in all those classes like mentoring, training, counseling, consulting, etc., etc. So number one, build confidence and trust. Now, number two, professional standards. Now, credentialing demonstrates a commitment to meeting independently assessed standards of education, experience, and also ethics. And not only that, if you guys have actually checked on what we call coaching platform, registering yourself as a coach in coaching platform, these days, the minimum requirement would be for you to attain at least an ACC. Now, the reason is because over the years, organization or coaching platforms has already deemed that if you are certified, I cannot tell whether you're competent enough to coach my people or not, whether you abide by the rules or not, because organization out there or coaching platforms out there have seen a rise of certified coaches these days. And in fact, if we were to look at the numbers of certified coaches out there, which I'll show there's a lot of coaches out there, you will see that not all coaches actually practice accordingly. So what do I mean by that would be once they get certified, they still go back to their own behavior, which is to become much more directive, because sometimes these are we call it habits that is hard to kill. In fact, some people, they may be certified coaches. However, it is in believing of or abiding by the ICF core competency, whereby the coach actually brings the process to their coaching that brings the change and awareness. And last but not least, continued development. Now, the credential journey itself encourages ongoing learning, reflection, growth, and throughout a coach professional career. So those things I will talk about something like, for example, in order for you to become ACC, right? First, you got to go through the certified process, which is to go to a class, right? That is number one, and level one and level two, which is your level one and level two class. Now, when you go for, say, for example, ACC or even renew ACC, right? For renew ACC, you need to have at least 3 years later on to renew. So the requirement, I will not talk too in-depth in it, but you will need mentor coaching. You will need to have a certain hours in it to actually maintain your ACC. So failure to actually maintain the the requirement to actually renew your ACC will also make you drop off from this ACC credential. And also there is something what we call CCEU. CCEU is something like Coach Continuous Education Unit. So that's actually a learning unit whereby the ICF itself deemed that you need to collect coaching education hours, meaning to say you need to learn about coaching by attending, right, coaching's event to continue to develop yourself as coaches. Why? Is because like for example, the world is always changing. One of the latest trend would be AI, and some people even start using AI as part of their coaching tools or something like that. So if you stay not updated, I would say not updated, so you will never know that as a coach what has been done and what has been changed. Take for example, role model is our so-called ancestor unit, and however, when you come to CCA, Corporate Coaching Academy, we have the CCA do model, and then we have the SCORN model. We have so many different framework models so far that have developed across the whole few years of span, which started from a very simple what we call inner game of tennis by Tim Galloway, and we developed so far ahead. Why? Is because this encourages the ongoing learning that coaches go along. And I wouldn't touch too much on this one, but like this year itself, there's a huge major of change whereby we call it the MCS, Mentor Coaching Supervision. So they also want to regulate mentor coaching as well, so that those coaches out there wouldn't go around and say, hey, you know what? I'm a mentor coach. I can mentor coach you. attending the mentor coaching supervision session in terms of sharing ICF few days ago, I can say it's not your typical mentor type, because in mentor coaching, as a coach, you need to know how to coach the coach. So it's a different challenge. So in terms of that, ICF is also regulating in terms of mentor coaching as well, right? So we are pretty clear on what a credential represent in coaching. Now let's look, where are you in your credential journey? So this is a question that I actually asked to the floor. So share with us, okay, in the chat box, like where are you in your credential journey? Are you like, I just got my certificate, I don't know what I'm doing, I just want to know more about the credential journey, or I'm halfway there, I'm collecting hours, etc., etc. I want to know more, like what are the details, what can I get, what can I gain if I become a credential coach or something like that. So type at the chat box, like, where are you now currently in your credentialing journey? Or even better, if you say this is actually the first time you heard of credential, ICF credential, you have no idea of it, just share at the chat box. It's fine. Want to know more and plan to start your credential journey? Okay, cool. All right, thanks, Hong Limbo. About to complete CPC certification, want to start ACC journey. So, Vimala, am I right if I were to say that you are completing the level 2 soon?
Yes.
And you're looking forward to get a credential? Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. Okay, this will be really good for you, because let me just sidetrack a bit, because during my journey, I have no idea what's next after getting my level 2 certification. Okay, collecting hours but don't know how to move next. Cool. All right, this session can help you to actually know what's next for you as a coach. All right. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to share something about myself, because I'm too excited to start the session. So my name is Q and I'm your host today. I've been the past professional development director for ICF itself. I'm currently serving as the continuous education director or expo in MACC itself. In here we have Fuad, our president, Yong, deputy continuous education director, growth and development director, Ching Ching here. Right. So I forgot all this because I was too happy to share with you. All right. Okay, cool. Thank you for your answer and all those. Right. So let's see. First thing first, definitely exploring. So some of you share curious about what credential and what it means for your coaching career. Cool. And preparing for ACC, some of you already mentioned, and also progressing to PCC. Now, just to ask, anyone is progressing to PCC here, meaning to say you are already credential for ACC and you want to move towards the PCC and get a deeper experience. Anyone here? Okay, me too, me too. Thank you, Ching Ching. Thank you, Ching Ching. Yes, I'm waiting to reach this PCC. Now, moving it is to actually show your credibility visible. Now, what happens when you get the credential is that it also shows what you have learned, because learning is not enough, right? Learning and tell people that, hey, I'm a certified coach, right? And to be honest, because there's a slide that shows you how many coaches there is over the years, or up to date, how many coaches we have. So if we were to look, client and organization are actually looking for evidence of formal coach education, and not only that, but again, go back to what our president said, competency. I really love the word competency, because it's not just about learning. So the best way is, do you abide by the standards, right? Now, in fact, what standards have they made? Put aside this, before I explain like the standards of it, anybody here know what's the difference between ACC and PCC? Or I put it by level, easier for you all. What's the difference between level 1 coach and level 2 coach? If you don't know, just say don't know. It's fine. What's the difference between level 1 coach and level 2 coach? Coaching hours is different, okay? Aside from coaching hours, definitely I know coaching hours, but what's the difference, like as a coach? Because we are here at the standards here, so what's the difference? Learning hours, okay, cool. Cool, learning hours, coaching hours, the hours thing, cool, same thing, all right? We're talking about certification now, actually, level 1 and level 2, right? Level 1 and level 2. Okay. Level 2 coach is guided by a structural framework, right? Jacqueline shared, right? Thank you very much for sharing, Jacqueline. That is really the answer I'm looking for. And in fact, to put it simply, level 1 coaches are what we call issue-based coaches, or very well, we call it in ICF website, not proclaimed by me, they call it beginner coaches. Why? Is because this is where you learn how to ask questions. You have the habit of asking questions, putting in your conversation as coaches. So this is where you learn how to actually really deeply get people to create the awareness around it. This is where the question begins. Now, level 2 coaches structure framework, or what we call goal-based structure. Why? Is because along the journey, you will see the difference. One, the issue base is, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And for level 2 coaches, it's different, which is we are guided by the framework whereby, so what it is that you want to do and how can we get there together? So there's multiple sessions to it. Right? That's number one. So this is level 1 and level 2 coaches. So what's the difference between ACC and PCC? Also link back to what you have been taught as well. Now, ACC itself, we call it the beginning coaches in a way, like you're learning, all right? Issue-based, something like that. However, the competency required for ACC is much different. It's a bit different from the PCC. Why? Because if you were to look at your ACC markers and your PCC markers, which you can find it at ICF website itself, the markers themselves to make yourself as a competent coach of a credential ACC and PCC is completely different. For PCC-wise, they touch on things like tangible. By tangible means that if you are making a plan, if you say that I want to be, for example, if I want to lose weight, your PCC markers must have something like what's the plan, what's the action to it. Whereas for ACC itself, even if at the end of the day is to make the person feel happy or something like that, to reach a what you call it, desired outcome of being happy because of losing weight, for example, it's good enough already. So the markers will be different between the level 1 and the ACC and PCC. Why the PCC touch on the details that you touch upon, whether or not they are not only having the awareness of it, but are they really knowing what to do during this session, so that meanwhile from this session to the next session, there's an action to be called to it. So for more information of these markers, right, you can check on the ICF website. And if it's inside my PC, I probably share with you all after the sharing as well, right, of the markers. Now, so what experience and result have they built, which is, like mentioned, coaching hours, client outcomes. Now, the reason why I share this is because this is based on my experience, just to share with you guys. Every 50 hours that you put in coaching hours, change the way you ask a question. And when you get your credential, this is just, again, the sharing part. When you get your credential, which really touch on things that what to do and what not to do, because that's what ACC exam is mostly about. The best situation, best scenario, and also the worst scenario, something like that. What to do and what not to do, right? It will test on yourself whether you are a real coach or not. And this is only able to be done when you start accumulating the hours as a coach, because then you'll be able to know as a coach what not to do in certain situations. For example, one of the things that I normally see would be them asking that if your client has a serious issue with therapists, right? They have to meet a therapist. What do you do in that room itself? So based on experiences, this and that, and if you have read the ICF ethical standard, frequently asked questions, then you will know that what you can do and what you cannot do at that particular moment. So these are the things that experience. So put sidetrack a bit, like my personal experience would be like, if I see my client crying for the first time, when I saw my client crying, I wanted to comfort him or something like that. But accordingly, it shouldn't be done in a way, because professionalism wise, as coaches, right, we need to actually stay calm in certain situations as well, instead of getting pulled by themselves, right? So this is what makes this coaching credibility visible, because it tells a lot about you. once you hit 500 hours, you're entirely a different coach. I can say that. All right. So credibility comes from multiple sources. We talk about education, credential, experience, and also reputation as well. And this whole thing, right? If you go out, for example, you say that I'm a certified. So like Vimala said, I'm about to complete my certified professional coach, right? So that's education. You tell people that I have a certain education hour to become or to be called as coach, right? Now, however, the experience itself in the coaching industry, sometimes like coaching platform, they will even ask you this: how many coaching hours do you have? Right. And they will even ask like, what's your niche in coaching? Why is because the questioning part or questioning techniques also based on what you have learned so that you ask the right question at the right moment as well. And most importantly, also comes from reputation as well. Credential plays a role in it only. Now, the reason why I share with you this credibility comes from multiple sources is because some of the coaches, new coaches, came to me and asked me this: Q, if today I get credential of ACC, PCC, am I guaranteed to get a client? So this is a question to throw to coaches out there. Are you guaranteed to get a client if you have ACC or PCC? Are you guaranteed to get a client? It's a yes or no question. So you can type at the chat box. No. All right. Okay. No. Exactly. So it talks a lot. All right. However, what I can share with you is that credential does plays a role in getting a client. Why? Is because these are some of the coaches that I talk with. So for a ratio better chances, these are some of the coaches I talk with. Some of the organization out there deem that they need coaches with ICF background, minimum ACC. And in fact, in the recent trend of the global organization coaching platform or organization deem that minimum entrance fee or level to actually enter the coaching in the industry will be PCC now, because the 100 hours they think is not enough to show the competence. Right? Cool. Now, certification, we ask credentialing. If you were to see certification mentioned earlier, awarded by a training provider, confirms completion of a program, and you can demonstrate the learning and coach education. Then credential is awarded by the ICF itself. Now, it verifies your education, experience, and competence. And most importantly, education actually develops your capability on your credentially verifies the standards. So there's two different distinction between these two. Now, the reason why I want you to understand is because not that I'm selling you that you got to get your credential. The reason is because once you get your credential, right, you will be recognized globally. In fact, ICF themselves will send you the badge and something like that, and you can really, really proud of putting the badge in front and share with you that you are an ICF CC, globally recognized. And just to sidetrack a bit, I know it's recorded, just to share. I got my client because my client saw that I myself gotten ICF ACC. And he was like, oh, you are ICF ACC now. Yeah. Cool. Can I find you to actually become, can I become your client because of coaching, blah, blah, blah. So this itself, because of the standards they believe in. So I said, so you don't believe in, so I asked a question like, you do not believe in certified professional coaches? No, I met a few certified professional coaches. So many, like some even call themselves master coach, but most of them are just really mentor to me. I'm looking for something that abide by the ICF rules. I say, okay, because from the way I see in Malaysia, even though ICF, the what we call the reputation, they're already spreading the awareness like what coaching is like, which is the interactive style, asking question, and etc. etc. There are still some people writing on the coach definition, which is no wrong, right? Where they call themselves coach, but actually what they are doing is just consulting and also mentoring, right? So one of the experience, the vulnerability of this credibility is that accreditation does not replace your experience or reputation, right? It just adds on independent professional verification, strengthening what you already built. Now, however, I would like to also clarify a bit that some people might say that, does it mean I'm automatic competent? No. The reason why I clarify this is because some people are just really, really good at answering questions, which means they are very academic. in their coaching journey, they're very good with answering questions. So other than that, credential does add you up, but it's also how you perform yourself as a coach out there. Cool. I want to make this distinct clarification. Why is because some people might claim that, oh, now that I'm a credential coach, that means that people got to give me the proper respect or a certified coach, this and that. No, how you actually sell yourself or how you actually bring yourself is also entirely on how you coach people. Because I have met coaches that piss people off with leading questions, right? Now, then the growing coaching profession, which I want to show you guys, currently we have 122,974 coach practitioner worldwide. This is by ICF. This is by ICF, by the way. I have not counted the IAC, International Association of Coaches. I have not counted the NLP ones, but coach practitioner worldwide is around 122,974. That is global, right? Numbers of Malaysia coaches itself, certified. This is not saying the credential one. Members and this and that. In ICF itself is around 100 plus. In MACC itself is around 300 plus. Not counting the Weber out there, which is a rough number of 500 to 800. If I'm not mistaken, NLP coaches out there. So that's Malaysia itself, right? You are competing with 1,000 plus, I would say 1,000 plus coaches, certified coaches. So now you see the distinction of what credential actually brings you to is to set you apart from other people, other coaches, right? Again, I'm just a disclaimer. I'm not saying that these coaching education is not good, yada yada, this and that. But I'm just saying that there's a reason why ICF actually do this credential is because they want to set the standards out there where organization and clients believe in, right? Then this is just to share for those that really likes numbers. This is last year itself, I think the ICF itself, global revenue for coaching, right? Global, entirely nation, is USD 5.34 billion itself, right? This is the estimate global coaching revenue itself. So it shows that taking a credential actually opens up to different opportunities as well as it's a growing economic value. And last but not least, credential holders. This is ICF. Globally, we have, as of this at the start of 2025, 55,987 credential holders. So if you can see, right, even at here, it's almost half of it. You don't have a lot. And this compromise or consists of ACC, PCC, and MCC as well. All these studies are by ICF, by the way. I just take out an extract and then put here just to let you all show that the credential is there. All right. So opening doors through credential, you have corporate and executive coaching, right? You have the panels, partnership, and recognition. So like I myself, I gained some recognition from other people because of this ICF CC, and also growth and advanced credential. So these are things that you get to know more. What other opportunities are open through credentialing? Now, just to touch a bit on ACC and PCC milestone, all right? First thing first, ACC 60 plus hours education, 100 plus hours experience, and 10 hours mental coaching, and then performance evaluation and all. Then you can go take your ACC. I would say that normally the education hours and also your mental coaching and performance evaluation are really done with your coaching education provider or with your school in this case. Right? PCC 125 hours education, 500 plus hours experience, 10 hours mental coaching, and 2 evaluation recording, normally done by submitting to the mental coaching. This one will have a new format for the new mental coaching supervision next year, and then ICF examination. So both of them, they go through the credential exam. And last but not least, just a disclaimer, always verify the latest requirement on the official ICF website before applying because there are some changes also over the years, right? Now, the credential pathway, which is, we mentioned earlier, education and experience, mentoring and evaluation, and application and credential. This is the pathway, very simple that. So I would assume that most of us here probably are already done these two, which is education and experience, mentoring and evaluation, Last one is just the application, which is your coaching hours. Right. Now, preparing for the exam, I mentioned, and I would like to repeat, which is ICF core competency. Understand and apply all the ICF core competency in real coaching context, not just the definition. Here is something that's very important for coaches. It's not about you doing the coach. It's about you being the coach. Right? Code of ethics and judgment, right? What to do and what not to do. So this is where you practice to apply professional judgment to complex coaching scenarios. And last but not least, mentor coaching and time. What do I mean by this is that you can go to another mentor coaches out there. Why? This is actually because 10 hours is not enough. This is by a master, MCC coach sharing one. He said 10 hours of mentor coaching is actually not enough. So if you deem not enough, right, you can actually look and find some mentor coaching feedback and see that if you have enough sufficient preparation time before submitting your application for the PCC. This is for you to also understand that what are the things that as a coach, like in being a coach at that particular moment, what's the do and what's the don't. So now, last sharing before I want to share. So some myth and reals reframe. So these are myths that can delay your credential. Number one myth, I must know everything before I apply. So truth or reframe is that readiness requires preparation and evidence, not perfection. If I were to share a bit of my experience, would be I was actually accompanying a bunch of a group of coaches to actually do their credential exam, and they were very well prepared, and then I was just joining them as part of the group, and that's it. That's my journey as an ACC accredited coach. So it's not about you knowing everything. You don't need to know everything. As long as you fulfill good enough to actually take the exam, you can just take the exam. Right? Now, myth, the examination is the entire credentialing process. Absolutely no. Why? Because the examination is just one part of a broader professional journey. In fact, I will share my personal experience is that after taking the exam and becoming an ICF ACC coach, I have much more confidence in my coaching, number one. Second of all is that I can really tell whether or not a coach is abide by the core competency of what ICF has said as well. It's the way they talk, because some are still very eager to give advice. Now, myth, a credential will automatically bring clients, which I mentioned earlier. No, it's not. A credential only strengthens your positioning, relationship, and results to build the practice as well. And this is something I want to share just to top this up. Someone shared with me and it hammered deep inside me, right? Your network is your net worth, right? So this is something you need to build up your network before and after you build your credential. This is very important. Why? Because this is also something our father of coaching I have shared with me as well, which is if nobody knows that you are a coach out there, even if you get your credential, right? You will not get client anywhere. What are the odds of getting a client if nobody knows that you are a coach? Right? Okay. So now I would like to invite our first speaker today. We have a few speakers. Before that, I just want to share roughly with you what they were gonna share, which is these are lessons from coaches who have been there. Of course, we actually invited newly passed exam, alright, they passed the credential exam. I passed last year, so we invited newly passed exam on. So what are their advice is that we will talk about things like they will share about what motivates them to actually pursue the credential. This is just something I already shared with them earlier of what they can share. What was their biggest challenge or concern? How did they prepare for the assessment and examination? What changed after becoming credentialed, and what practical advice would they give to aspiring credential coaches? Now, without further ado, let me invite the first speaker or first coach, right? Phoebe Chan, ICF ACC. She just gotten her ACC recently. Let's welcome her to share her experience with us. Phoebe, all yours.
Okay, thank you, Kale. Good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for having me here and to share my ACC journey with all of you tonight. It's truly a privilege to be here. So let's start to share about my journey. Like for me, pursuing the ICF ACC, right, was actually never just about adding letters after my name, but rather to become a better coach. So I believe coaching has the power to transform lives. And because of that, I wanted to ensure I was coaching according to international recognized professional standards. The ICF framework challenged me to become more intentional in how I listen, ask questions, and partner with my clients rather than simply giving advice. As someone who is passionate about inside out transformation, I wanted my coaching to be both heart centered and grounded. I believe the credential also gives my clients greater confidence that they are working with a coach who is committed to professionalism, ethical practice, and continuous learning. So my biggest challenge initially was shifting my mindset from being an expert to being a coach. Means like from being directive to becoming non-directive. Because of my background in training, medical wellness, and image consulting, my natural tendency was to help people by sharing ideas, giving advice, and or solutions. Um, so learning to trust the coaching process, uh, to stay curious and to resist the urge to fix the client required intentional practice for me. So ironically, that's what I love most about coaching now, actually. I no longer feel the pressure to have all the answers. Instead, I trust that my coaches are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. And my role is to partner with them so they can discover their own answers. That mindset shift was really like liberating for me. Another challenge was preparing for the assessment while balancing my business, family responsibilities, and building my coaching practice. There were moments of self-doubts, naturally, but I kept reminding myself that growth happens outside our comfort zone. Agree? So as for the assessment itself, one thing I found challenging was that there were several multiple choice questions, seem to have more than one correct answers. So the key wasn't choosing a good answer, but it was to identify the best answer that most closely align with the ICF core competencies and coaching mindset. This is something you may want to pay attention to when you prepare for your assessment. So to share how I prepare for the assessment, firstly, I make sure I thoroughly understood the ICF core competencies and the code of ethics, not just memorizing them, but understanding how they apply in real coaching conversations by practicing with peers and discussing coaching scenarios with fellow coaches. So what I do is also going through some resources on ICF Global website, attending some MCC live virtual learning events, observing how they do the coaching demos, then watching some YouTube videos from Lisa DeHart, MCC, and Dr. Francis, MCC as well. And also getting some tips from fellow coaches here and there. I also had some tips from Mr. President Fuad, as well as Kill as well. So, and I also did some mock exam questions that helped me to identify my weak areas and strengthen my understanding. More importantly, I reflected on my own coaching practice. Instead of preparing just to pass the exam, I prepared to become the kind of coach I aspire to be. The biggest change wasn't the credential itself, it was my confidence. Becoming credential affirmed that I had met an international recognized standard, which gave me more confidence when serving clients and collaborating with others. It also deepened my commitment to lifelong learning. I realized that earning the credential is not the destination, it's the beginning of a journey of continuous growth. Every coaching conversation still teaches me something new each time. Professionally, it also has strengthened my credibility, especially when working with corporate clients and leaders who value recognized professional standards. If I could leave you with one encouragement, that would be don't wait until you feel ready. Okay, just start the journey. I know many coaches hesitate because they wonder if they are good enough or if they'll pass the assessment and so on. I had these thoughts too previously. But what I discovered is that the ACC journey doesn't just prepare you for a credential. It actually transforms you into a better coach. So every every step you take strengthens your coaching presence, deepens your confidence, and raises your professional standards. So be curious, practice consistently, seek feedback, coach as many as you can, reflect after every session, and ask yourself that is how I ask myself, how could I have how I how could I have partnered with my client even better? So I reflect after the coaching session how I can become a better partner, you know. Most importantly, trust the coaching process. You don't need to have all the answers. Your role is just your role is not to impress your client with your knowledge, but to create a safe space where they can discover their own answers. When you focus on serving your client well, the credential becomes a natural milestone along the journey rather than the final destination. So I hope my sharing has given you a snapshot of what the credential journey is like and perhaps shed a little light on what is to expect. And I hope this encourages you to take the first step towards your credential. And I wish you all the best.
Right. Thank you,
You back to the host.
Phoebe.
Thank you.
Very inspiring sharing. I like the
Thank you,
trusting
thank
the
you.
coach process, because this is something I share with a lot of aspiring coaches as well. Thank you, Phoebe.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's invite the next speaker. All right, the next speaker. Now, let me bring forward. Okay, the next speaker is Sharul Anwar. He also recently gotten his ICF ACC. Right, Sharul Anwar, it's all yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the kind introduction. I think Phoebe's done a great job to really explain the experience that we all go through as a coach. Absolutely, I went through every single thing that she said, so it was a very good summary. Um, so nothing really much for me to add, but coincidentally, I had two coaches that spoke to me this week, and both were about to get their ACC hours, 100 hours, as well as planning to sit for their exams in probably in October, November. So what I can share is perhaps some of their concerns, which because I did mine about almost a year ago, so I forgot some of the actual on the ground details and experience that they went through. But I think to sort of pull up on what Phoebe brought up is once you're certified, you will have this euphoria of okay, great, I'm a certified coach. But at the same time, do you have this other voice in you that is telling you that okay, you're certified, but you have 0 hours of practice. How do you go out and start coaching if you don't have the confidence to actually coach, right? And it's a chicken and the egg situation. Undoubtedly, you will have to run a few sessions. Of course, the first few sessions will be very, awkward in the sense that you're not used to, as Phoebe shared, you're not used to holding back. You're not used to uh, not giving advice. So there's a lot of things that your old habits will continue to be visible or be present, and that's normal. That's part of the learning curve. I think no one starts the first session perfectly, right? I even tell, because I conduct internal training as well on helping line managers become, I wouldn't say help line managers become coaches, but help line managers adopt coaching practices. And one of the things I always tell them openly is that I can guarantee you, out of the 100 hours of coaching that I did to get the ACC accreditation, I would say that out of 180 is probably not really that good, and only the last 20 was had some resemblance of a coaching session. And the point I'm trying to make that is that ICF, being a established organization with lots of experience and a lot of senior coaches who've gone through this, right? So they know that 100 hours is the bare minimum. Just like Kyla was mentioning about the mentoring hours, the bare minimum. So 100 hours is the bare minimum for you to get that sense of what a coaching session would look like. So I do encourage all of you to just reach out to anyone, friends, families. Half of my coaching hours I got from, actually more than half of my coaching hours I got from outside my organization. I reach out to friends, family, and people friends who had businesses and say, hey, I just got certified. Coaching normally costs X amount of dollars per month, per hour. I'm willing to do it for free for you. You want not? And of course they jump at it. They say, oh, I got 10 employees. A got problem. This one, so never mind. I don't need to know all that. Just send them to me. Just tell them that you've got a friend who's a coach and you're willing to have sessions. So I got a fair bit number of hours, and it's, of course, the first few sessions were not very good, like I said, and I think it's just like what Phoebe said. You just have to start, go out there, and as you practice, you will um, discover what your triggers are as a coach. What will trigger you to not what will trigger you to share? Because, for example, like, I have a background in HR, right? So if someone comes to me in a coaching session with a HR issue, wow, it's very easy for me to, like, okay, I know what to do. This is what I did before, to go into that mentoring or training mindset, which was very difficult, right? So it takes practice, and over time, you will know how to navigate the coaching session, and it just takes practice. And the beauty of coaching is that you never know. I mean, it's like what Forrest Gump said. It's like life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get, because uh, the moment the coachee opens their mouth and say, "Okay, this is what I'd like to talk about." Number one, it's never the same thing. And number two, even if it's the same thing, because let's say if it's from the same company and they have the same job role, even if it's the same thing, the cause or the reasons are different. So every coachee is unique in their own way, because we all were raised differently. We have different values. We have different beliefs. Some of the beliefs are self-limiting. But anyways, my point being is that it's always interesting to coach someone, because you really don't know how the coaching session will turn out, and reserve your judgment. Reserve your judgment. And I think one of the I would dare say that out of the 100 hours, maybe I had about maybe 10% or even less coaching sessions where I really went with the flow. There was no script. There was no list of questions. I just went with the flow. It felt very scary. It felt very intimidating, because I was so fearful that, oh my God, is the coaching going to get something out of this session? All of those sessions ended up being the most valuable, not just to the coachee, but to me, in terms of learning, because you were willing to let go of the, I'm not saying forget all of the stuff that you've learned, but what I'm saying is go with the flow. Go really with what the coachee is saying. Really try to listen to what's not being said, and all that kind of stuff. And it comes with practice. And even now, we're ACC, we're trying to become PCC. So obviously, after 500 hours, I can imagine how different I would be, right? So yeah, still part of the learning journey, and happy to answer any questions. But maybe to touch on one last point is how to prepare for the exams. I think most of us, what we will do is that we go online and find some free sample questions. Um, that can be helpful. It can be helpful. But they also, some websites also provide free like tests, and they will give you a score. My caution is, don't take those scores to heart, because I took those tests 3 4 times and I failed all the time, each time, right? So don't be too stressed out by that. And I was just telling the two coaches that I was speaking to this week, they were so caught up, like, oh, what if the exam, what if I fail? And I think one of the coaches, one of the MCCs I saw online, can't remember her name now, she said a lot of her students as well who sign up for a course also face this stress about, what if I fail? What if I fail? Right? She said, forget about that. There's a certain percentage that will fail every year. For example, 50%, right? For example, first try. So she said, go with the mindset that the first attempt is just a dry run for you. In other words, assume you'll fail, but try your best. And if you fail, it's not the end of the world. You can always reset it. There's like a, I don't know, 2 week or 1 month buffer for you just to revise. So don't go in like, oh, if I fail, it's the end of the world. No. And just go in, assume it's a warm up, and most of the time, second try you get it. But I think most of us in Malaysia, from what some of the statistics that I've heard, most of us pass first time. So but no pressure. Even if you do it the second, third time, it's okay. And I think it keeps changing as well. I think the time I set for it, they just changed it, which was fortunate for me, because the sample questions I took online were much more difficult. So when I sat for it, I said, how come the questions are like this? Not easy, but easier than what I thought. So yeah, managed to pass first time. But like I said, no pressure. I went in with the mindset that it was a warm up for me, and and it helped me keep me calm. So those are just some tips, in addition to all the good stuff that Phoebe shared earlier.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl.
Oh, nice.
Very nice, very nice. In fact, if I were to share, right, I was attending the ICF credential class last year, and
Mm,
it mentioned that the what we call the passing rate or failing rate for
mm,
the ICF itself was 60%.
okay. Yeah, around there. Yeah.
And 40% still failed. So I also like okay, this is interesting, because I was also worried to see whether I failed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
all the best. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much, Cheryl. And for your information, Cheryl was one of the speaker during the ICS during the ICS during the ICS, and he has very wonderful sharing. So thank you very much. Let me just okay. Let's invite our final speaker of today. Okay, which is something I want to learn myself. Let's invite Miss Fanny Chong, ICF PCC. Right.
Thanks, Q. Thanks, MNCC ISCO, for having me here. It's my first time. I did my CMC with Phoebe and Fuad in 2023. And my journey is very interesting. I started my coaching journey back in 2019. So anyone has started coaching journey before 2019? Anyone? I think I'm the longest one, the oldest one. Okay, so what happened was 2019, I did the certification program. When I did my research about coaching, because my background, I'm from HR consulting, and I was keen to have a one-on-one conversation, just like, I was a headhunter. So I wanted to continue with this practice. Then I explored coaching through my ex-colleague. And when I wanted to find out the coaching program, I found one, and I asked him, what's the difference between the local certification and international? And he said, the international is when you want to seriously develop this coaching as a long-term profession, then you should go for it. If you just want to explore coaching, see whether this is something that is for you and you're not sure, then you may just go for the local certification, right? It's just like our SPM versus ICGSE. So which one would be recognized? And for me, I'm quite serious about the coaching. So that's why I went for the international. It took me 1 year to get my ACC. All right. That time when I did my program, there were 11 competencies. You can imagine how long ago. Then after that, they shortened it to 8 competencies. And because of that, I wanted to learn more for the 8 competencies. How is it different? And I went to another school to do team coaching. Right. You can see that I really want to explore, want to learn. It's just like what Cheryl and Phoebe say, it's like sometimes you will have self-doubts or, the self-limiting thoughts. And I wanted to explore, it's like, how do I know whether I am a good coach? Right. And I want to learn from different schools. So I was given this opportunity to learn about team coaching. And I thought, and this team coaching would give me PCC if I could just do my mentor coaching. While I was doing that, I was very ambitious that I just got my ACC, then I to complete my team coaching, then I can go for PCC. That was 2022. And what happened? ACC opened a lot of doors for me. I became a career coach, and I was very busy with a lot of back-to-back coaching sessions. I did manage to complete my assignment because the team coaching that I did, it was from Europe, where I need to do a lot of reflection. It's like MBA's assignment. Then when the opportunity came for me to learn about CMC, and I was thinking, since this team coaching could allow me to do PCC, why don't I go for CMC, the mastery level? To me, I felt that I was not good enough. I want to learn more from all these gurus, these mentors, so that I can be better coach, right? Then I completed the CMC. And I used that to renew my ACC. So you all might ask me, why didn't you go for PCC straight away? Why you use that to renew your ACC, right? Because when I wanted to do my PCC then, ICF changed the core competencies questions, the CKA. They changed the questions and they wanted us just to submit our applications and just get the PCC. And in my mind, I wasn't ready. I just like Phoebe said, don't wait until you're ready, then you go for it. I wasn't confident and I wasn't ready. So what happened was I told myself, I want to complete my team coaching and then just see how it goes, right? At least I got my team coaching. And the CMC, I renew ACC. And another reason is that I want to be a mentor coach. Because to me, it's that if I become a mentor coach, then I help others people for me to understand the competencies better. So remember, I changed the competencies from 11 to 8. I still wanted to learn more. I still felt that I didn't really understand the core competency enough. So I became a mentor coach. And I mentor coach 6 coaches. I helped them renew their ACC, right? And last year, I joined another coaching school and I stretched myself. I wanted to learn Mandarin coaching. So I went to this school who is specialized in Mandarin coaching. They do have English as well, but they give me the flexibility if I want to go for Mandarin. So I challenged myself and I took that for my PCC. And I submitted my PCC application early this year, all right? And you know what? I received an email after I have submitted my application. I received an email from ICF asking me, we are going to change the CKA, the exam format. Would you like to explore the new format? As you all know that those who have done the CKA, the moment, based on the existing exam, the moment you completed your CKA, the result will be out immediately on the same day, just maybe within 15 minutes, right? But if you want to opt for the new exam, you will have to wait until May, actually, until May. And I did it in February, during Chinese New Year. So I asked a lot of questions to myself. Now I have the opportunity to get my PCC straight away. Do I want to go for this pilot exam. And you know why? Because ICF say if you want to go for this new pilot exam, you are contributing to the community to set the new standard for the future coaches. And the other one is they give you free CCE. They give you free courses where you can earn the CCE, which Kil mentioned earlier on, continuing coach education. We need that to renew our credential. And another thing is, they say, in case you fail this pilot exam, we give you a free exam for the existing one, free. Because I have come across some coaches, they have failed for 2-3 times. Yeah, so I really took it seriously. I also did what Phoebe said. I studied online, I listened to YouTube. I still had this fear. So I was thinking, why not if I fail this one, I still can go for a receipt one and then it's free. I don't need to fork out money because it's quite costly, right? To go through all this. And I was willing to wait because I already waited for a few years, right? So the question is, would that change my journey after I got credential? Okay, so early this year, I got my AATC, which is my team coaching, which I can go for the ACTC credential. And I got my PCC, right? And I didn't expect that I would pass because it was tougher than all the exams that I've done. I did the mock exam as well. And the format is supposed to be easier because they have changed the formats. Just to let you know, anyone going for PCC, I saw some hands, right? Okay. So basically, it's shorter than the existing ones. This one is about maybe less than 3 hours, all right? And there are 4 sections. In the past, you have more questions on scenario based. And this time, they have 4 sections. One section is knowledge based, where you can get all the answers from your core competencies, the code of ethics, the values. Then the second part is scenario. Then the third part, they go back to knowledge. Then the fourth part is scenario again. So at least you have shorter questions on scenario, more questions on knowledge. So if you want to score high, you basically just hit the knowledge base. Make sure that the knowledge based questions are all correct. If let's say the scenario based, the most challenging is you have to identify the best answer at the same time worst answer. Okay, so this is based on my mentor coach. If you understand the core competencies, try to define the keyword. Look for the keyword. So for example, best answer is always about client-led. Among the 4 choices, look for which answer is about the client-led. The worst answer, I think you all know lah, worst answer is opposite lah, it's coach-led. So for example, if they ask about a certain scenario and the keyword is about acknowledge, so you know that coach is supposed to acknowledge how the client feels, that would be the best answer. Okay, so this is the tips I got from my mentor. And also another tip is because of the time, you may not want to read the whole question. Basically, forget about the scenario. If you want to explore those mock exam, those who want to explore that, you just have a quick look on the question and then focus more on the questions and identify which one is related to the core competencies. The one not related is the worst answer. Okay, of course, I don't score 100%, right? But this would be the tips that you can consider. But more importantly is read the core competency because at the end, they would like you to be familiar with the core competency. And that's the reason I want to become the mentor coach. I just received my mentor coach specialization, MCS. Yeah. If you ask me, do I think I'm better now? I feel that I'm more confident. At least I've gone through all the different coaching schools from different locations, different cultures, just to see how good I am, right? Just now, Kil asked, what does credential mean? If you go to ICF website, it says that ICF credential means professional validation and personal growth. Professional validation. All of us would have our own style to be a coach. right? I'm sure you have heard of this. Who you are is how you coach, right? Everyone is different. No matter what schools you go, what model you learn, at the end, it's about who you are. Meaning, like what Cheryl mentioned, follow the flow, right? If you deepen yourself to go into the core competencies, basically it's all about active listening, being present, coaching mindset, communicating, right? And also how to facilitate the client's growth. It's not about the coach, but it's more about the client. But a lot of people would focus on their own performance. When they are too concerned about the coach performance, then they will forget about the client. Then your presence will not be there 100%, right? I like what Cheryl said, when you follow the flow, meaning you let go about who you are in terms of what model should I use, what question should I ask, right? How am I doing? Did I ask the right question? Just being present with the client, meaning try to understand why this client is having this thought. Where is this client coming from? Why this client has this belief and the values? And being curious about the person in front of you, you will forget all these technical skills or tips. You will just kind of like flow with the client. And just remember, also another thing is the difference between ACC and PCC. ACC is trying to solve the problem. I shared with you that I came from a consulting background. So when I became a coach, I always have this tendency try to solve clients' problem, looking at the issues, and I will feel good if I'm able to solve the problem. But at the end, I killed the person's potential, right? Because I thought I'm better than the client. So when you want to continue to become a PCC and even later MCC, it's all about the level of mastery. Meaning, rather than looking at the issues, you actually look at the person, the client, the core value. So for example, if let's say the person is having an issue with lost weight, first thing first, instead of trying to solve why this person is having problem with weight loss and also trying to provide the tips and guidance, but ask the person, why is that important to this person? At the end, the outcome may be the person realized that, yeah, maybe I'm perfectionist. I just want to be better. I want to lose weight so that I can be more confident. So it will go back to the person's inner value. Then when this person understand or is able to understand themselves better, you've done your job already. It's not about us to give them the answer, but it's actually for us to help them discover themselves at a deeper level. Okay. Having credentials, if you notice that, why I'm going for all these MCS, ACTC or PCC, right? It's not about credentials. I shared with Kil. When I wanted to become a PCC, after I gotten my ACC, I already achieved more than 500 coaching hours. Today, I have more than 1,000 coaching hours. I have not done the latest calculation. Maybe I have more than 2,000, right? The coaching hours is not for us to calculate how many, right? It's not like tracking sheet, but it's actually every coaching session is a journey with your client. And the outcome is, what is the impact that you make for your client? The more sessions you have, the more practice you have, better you are, right? And the better you are is not about you tell yourself, but it's actually to go through all these exam assessment for validation. Yeah. Kil just now shared the statistics. There are a lot of coaches out there, but how do we stand out? When people do not know you, when you don't have the network, you don't have the connections, that is where they will look at your credential, your qualifications, your years of experience, right? But if you are known to people, they don't really need all this from you because they know they have the confidence that you do a good job. I do have an ex-colleague, he doesn't go for all this, but his clients are all C-suite executives, right? I also do have like people who go for MCC, but they don't get, they don't earn as good as other non-credential coach, right? So credential is important, it's recognition, but at the end, it's our own journey, our personal growth, right? So I like about ICF because as you know, we do have a EMCC. EMCC is European Mentoring Coaching Council. So EMCC is from the Europe, ICF is from the US, and ICF has done a great job to promote ICF so that it has become worldly recognized. Whereas EMCC is I mean, they are started being active in Asia, but they are very big in Europe, right? So the question is, after ICF, do you want to go for EMCC? It really depends on who your target clients are, right? Another reason is that for me, as I said, I have done a lot of career coaching until I feel that it's very transactional. So how can I change this career coaching to be more transformational rather than transactional? And one of the questions actually is quite straightforward. I'm sure you can do this question as well. It's like, when someone is looking for you to give guidance for their career, how do you go about? Do you give them guidance or do you push them at a deeper level for them to know who they are? Okay, thank you. That's my sharing.
Thank you, Fanny. Wow. In
you.
Chinese, Quran is PCC. Really is PCC level. Sharing also very different. And I would love to really thank Fanny because she top up a lot of things that due to time constraint, I also got to let the because she top up a lot of things that I would love to share with you all and all. As precious close. Jacqueline, for your question, we'll leave it for later on. For now, I would like to invite all the speakers that we are going to put you in spotlight to take a group photo with you all first, as in like 3 of you at the spotlight together, right? Let me just add spotlight.
Liu, can you stop your sharing?
Yeah. Actually, you can just press the meeting one. You don't need to ask me to stop one. You press the meeting, then it will go to video cam only.
Okay.
Everyone smile. Let our Zoom manager take photo.
Liu, you want to in?
Yeah, what? No need lah. No
No,
need.
yeah. Okay, come like 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay.
Okay, now we all take a group photo. So everyone no spotlight. So this one is where let me remove spotlight. Everyone just one cannot remove the last speaker spotlight on.
No problem. I can take. You all look into the screen.
Press gallery already. Okay, can.
Okay.
Now,
1, 2.
someone still turning on the camera.
Okay. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay, now that we have taken the group photo and also thanks for sharing from all our 3 speakers, our Phoebe, Sharo, and also Fanny, right? We will now reach to the final session following with later on to let you know what are the upcoming events. We have Q&A session here, which we can also look at the chat box as well. You can also type your question at chat box. I can answer surely there. For Fanny, Jacqueline actually asked a question here. What process did you go through to clarify your coaching niche? Example from team coach, career coach, mentor coach, mentoring coach, etc., etc. If you're comfortable to share, do feel free to share.
Yes, very good question. It's not that I want to be everything. It's just that I feel that, I want to learn to be a better coach. So, as you know, I mean, when we become a coach, basically it's you can go into different areas, right? And for me, I've done enough for one-on-one. And when I learn about team coaching, it's a combination of so-called consulting, training, and one-on-one coaching. right? You can offer more. So for me, it really depends who my clients are. And I want to be able to add value to my clients. And because I'm involved in a different field, so one of the things that I mentioned, I am a career coach. I'm also an executive coach, right? And I'm also a team coach. So I have received quite a number of executive coaching projects where I discovered that when one company is trying to engage a few executive coaches to coach their leadership team, in fact, they can explore the team coaching where they can get at least 2 team coaches to come in to evaluate the entire senior leadership team and see what area they can improve further, looking at one team as a whole, right? And I'm very interested to explore that. For Mandarin coaching is because I discovered that, as I mentioned, too many coaches out there and a lot of English speaking coaches, right? So when you are able to learn one more language, if some of you would like to explore Malay coaching, also you can do that because these are the markets that they need someone to develop as well, right? Not just looking at the multinational companies or the local companies or government companies, but also the SME or even GLC, some of them, the small ones, they would prefer Malay speaking, right? So it's all about who we have and how we can offer, right? And you want to maximize the opportunities to work with more clienteles. Did I answer your question?
Jacqueline, did Fanny, okay, answer the question? Right. Any more of the credential question that you would like to ask, put at the chat box. So for the participant that came and attend our session today, so I've already shared the ICF, ACC and also PCC minimum requirement. Those are some markers that you can actually refer to. Also, thanks to our president, Mr. Ahmad Fuad, he gives the green light whereby I'm able to share a guide to credential exam, which I've shared with a lot of coaches out there. You can all take a look at the guide. They have the link to the core competency, the ethics, and also the core values as well. So if you have questions, feel free to actually ask at the chat box. Any question from the floor?
Just now, Chin Chin is asking the credential exam, how long? Is it 4 hours or 3 hours plus?
How long is the new PCC exam?
It's about 140 minutes.
2 hours plus. The
Yeah.
new one.
Yeah. I can share with you the format in terms of how much time. Okay.
While Fanny is looking and sharing, right? Just to share with you all, right, a bit of top up. The ACC and PCC exam actually have a new revamp schedule. So if the older one will have the best and worst for both ACC and PCC. So there's a reason why they are revamping is also because there are a lot of coaches out there that say that the exam is too hard for them. So the ICF decided to look into the exam and come out first with the ACC first and now the PCC one. So the one that Fanny took was actually the pilot exam, so that it also at the same time set the standards for PCC because they wouldn't want to go too strict and wouldn't want to go too low as well. And thanks Fanny for sharing the general exam instructions. Wow, it's very good. Can you screenshot this? Any question from the floor? Aside from Ching Ching's how long is the exam? What else from Jacqueline and all? If not,
maybe I ask one question.
sure.
Is it necessary to have a credential in order to get the engagement? I mean the credential. Is it important to have the credential in order to get the engagement? Is this a minimum requirement or is this necessary or not? Or just because you know a lot of people, then people trust you, people engage you, or because people look at your credential, at least minimum, maybe ACC, then only they start to engage you, all these things. Is this necessary? I mean, from your experience.
Is this question for me?
Yeah,
or
last time you answered to me before, so that's why I asked
okay,
again. Yeah, for our others.
for others only.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I can share my experience uh, relating to this. You see, before I took my PCC, because I did not take my ACC, I straight away do my PCC. Yeah? So before I took the credential, earlier I never believed in having credential. So that's why to me, I just want the knowledge, the training. So I did until CMC. But then I realized that without a credential, I missed a lot of opportunity for potential engagement, right? Even for a CSR, CSR activities, to participate in CSR activities, the ICF also, they need minimum an ACC. So then I said that I must do something about it. So I set for my credential. And then after I got my credential, I realized that I get more opportunity. People start wanting you to propose to them, right? Because there is an evidence that you are a professional certified coach. So it does help. It does help. Yeah, I did not get much invitation, but now I've got invitation. This is whether I finally get it or not is a different thing, right? Because they also look at your actual exposure of conducting coaching at certain level. So hope that share. Yeah.
Thanks. Very good sharing.
Okay.
Last time in our classmate also, they also come to the class because the project is ready for him already. So he come in just to get the credentials so that he more qualified because the minimum requirement is ICF ACC. So yeah, this is for one of our classmate last time.
Okay, cool. With that all, I have really stopped sharing. Let me invite Yong to actually share upcoming events from MACC. Give a applause to Yong. Yong, the floor
Okay.
is yours.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your sharing. So I just need 1 or 2 minutes only. It's more on what coming out next. So I share in the chat box first the three coming out event, and then I will share the screen also. Wait, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you all see the screen, right? Actually, this one's supposed to be yesterday. So the dialogue with the coach by Dr. MACC. So the title is about what coaching has quietly lost and what we must protect. I think by looking at Dr. MACC picture, you all know the quality is there. So we have received overwhelming registrations for this. I hope that if you haven't registered, you still can register for it. Okay. And then the second one is the coaching camp. This round we upgrade our hotel from 4-star to 5-star. Then you will see what kind of experience that you're going to expect. And we were using the Avalanche Tortison Hotel, okay, beside the beach. So I think this is something that you can look for it, no matter earning your coaching hours, networking, practice, all is in. Okay, looking to see you there. And the last one, wait, the last one actually is the mini conference will be in December. So more information will be shared later. So just to save your date, and I will see you there. Okay, that's all from my side. Pass to you, Liu.
Oh, thank you very much. I think we are done already. Thank you everyone that have attended to this session. Hopefully it have brings you more insight on the credential itself. If there's any question, do feel free to I think you can link in and find their name and all, and then you can also find me. But of course I already shared the guide to credential and all those. Aside from that, for those that are taking their ACC and DCC, all the best. And also, I hope that the competence as a coach, after learning all those, give an inspiring thought on how you actually build yourself as a coach. Aside from that, have a great evening. See you all in the next event. Bye.
Good night.
Bye. See
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all our
Bye.
speaker. Thank
All
you
the best.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Cheryl. Thank you, Fanny. Thank you, Phoebe. Good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, Kale.
Thank
Thank
you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. This one.
Okay.
See you, Cheryl.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's what. Okay. Okay. Remember.
Jap.